Alright, people, a few days ago, Frank Warren was on Talksport. Now, during that interview, he talked about December the 23rd in Saudi Arabia. Now, that date was obviously the one that was provisionally, they're going to be there for Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. Alright, that was the date that provisionally was being talked about. Go to the Ngannou fight, that was the date. The Ngannou fight happened, Team Fury say it was cuts. I don't think it was. I think it was just that, they need a bit of time to rest, recoup, and then go into the Usyk fight. I think with Usyk, he needs rest as well. I think his team have even kind of hinted at that. So they've pushed that fight back to February. That's absolutely, as long as we get it, then fine, so be it, right? Let both guys come in at their best, right? But it leaves a free date, and I said that as well. It left a free date. So Eddie Hearn had talked about potentially doing, Anthony Joshua in London in the OVO or the O2 on that date because it's a Saturday, it's free, no one else is doing anything. Well, Frank Warren, in this interview he gave with Talksport, he said that there will be a Saudi Arabian boxing event on that date. Obviously, it won't be Fury Usyk, we know that. He says it will be massive, everything going in the right direction for a historic night of boxing. It's going to feature boxers from all over the world. You will be surprised by the names. So Frank Warren is obviously implying he's in the know, and he seems to have a decent relationship with the Saudis. He obviously put on Fury and Ngannou, or he promoted the fight, I should say. So he would obviously be in the know. Now this morning, Dan Raphael basically posted the following. He says Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are reportedly in talks to have separate fights, not fight one another yet, separate fights unfortunately, but on the same card on December the 23rd in Saudi Arabia. This will also potentially set up their fight in 2024 next year. It's also rumoured and claimed Dmitry Bivol looks set to return on that card. This looks to be all part of Riyadh season. So Frank Warren, when he was talking about, names and stuff like that, if this is true, he weren't kidding. Joshua and Wilder sharing the same card. Now, some of you may ask, if that does happen, are there any rumoured opponents? I have heard, again, with a grain of salt, rumours. Not saying it's true, right? But the rumour I've heard is that Joshua will take on Oliver Lane and Wilder Joseph Parker. I would say both could look, at the end of the day, both are not cream puffs. Parker's a former world champion. Oliver Lane, he obviously gave Fury a very, very tough night, coming off a win over Murakasiev, which was a very dull fight, but nevertheless, he was the rightful winner. He deserved to win. They have mentioned Oliver Lane as a potential opponent for Joshua in the past. When you look at, again, I'm talking about this as a rumour, right? If it does happen, you have to look at Parker and Verlaine. Neither guy really fits the criteria of the opponent. So, Oliver Lane, maybe similar dimensions to Wilder, but fights not just a southpaw, nothing like him. And again, with Parker, not really anything like Anthony Joshua to that extent. But that's the rumour mill, that they're going to be on the same card. They're going to have two separate fights. Bivol potentially on the undercard as well, or maybe he could headline, I don't know. But that, just even reading that, Wilder, Joshua and Bivol all on the same card, that's a pretty, they pull out all the stops for this Riyadh season, don't they? They really do. I get the impression that the Saudis did want to have that date for Fury versus Usyk, and now given the fact that it's free, and they obviously want to be. I just heard something go by there. That's why I was like, "What was someone pull in?" That's why I kind of hesitated a bit there. I get the impression that they want to keep every week as some kind of an event, because I think they have some UFC shows coming up. They have the UFC. I've already done that. I think the Grand Prix in Saudi is in March. I think it's sometime in March this year as well. They normally do that Grand Prix pretty early. So there's always something kind of going on around Riyadh season. They obviously don't want to have a weekend missing something. And this, right, look, if those fights actually, obviously they haven't mentioned Bivol with an opponent, God knows who it might be. But if Joshua is on there and Wilder's on there, both on the same card, setting up a fight for next year, all they have to do is win their respective fights, and we got that, hopefully anyway, fingers crossed. It's a quick turnaround. It's roughly 6 weeks till then. So both guys, both guys have been training. Wilder's put up a few images of himself training. I know Joshua was back in the States with Derek James. So yeah, let's see. We'll obviously wait for a bit more word on this. Frank Warren obviously spoke about, he didn't mention names or anything like that in that Talksport interview, but Dan Raphael mentioned names. We're hearing rumours of opponents. Hey, Wilder Joshua on the same card. You'll watch that kind of just hoping to God both guys come through it, because I always say it, whenever you have two fighters who talk about fighting, let's say the fight's pretty much a done deal, and they're locked in, and right, these two are going to fight as long as they get by both their respective fights. You always just, I think more often than not, one tends to take it out, because that was kind of how it was during that block in 2019. Do you remember when Fury, Wilder, and Joshua were fighting? I think Wilder fought first, then it was Joshua, then it was Fury. And I remember saying at the time, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them takes an L, and they did. Joshua did. Then there was talk of Fury, Joshua. Fury had to get through Deontay Wilder. Joshua had to get through Usyk. Both fights were, I think, a fortnight apart. It was Joshua first on September 21st, I think it was. And then it was October 9th, roughly a fortnight apart. It would be Fury. And I was like, it wouldn't shock me if one of them loses. Joshua lost. Is it third time the charm? Joshua and Wilder on the same card. One of them goes out and wins or loses. And judging by the history, it may very well be Joshua. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that happened the last two times now. God knows, might happen again. Let me know your thoughts on this rumour. There's a rumour at the minute. Let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think it would happen? How would it work promotional wise? Joshua and Bivol matchroom. Wilder, PBC are not officially a promotional company. I don't know who, because he's always been with PBC for years, but he used to fight under Lou DiBella as the promoter officially. I know he has been with DiBella for years now. I don't know who he's with now as Wilder. So let's different promoters going in, and obviously Frank Warren, would he be spearheading the event? Obviously Eddie Hearn doing the work for Joshua, Matchroom doing the work for those guys, but God knows, it's all up in the air at the minute. But that's the rumour. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button if you could. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. For now, lads and lassies, busy week. I will leave it there.